of women in nation building cannot be overemphasized. This is why the United Nations has set aside a day to celebrate women. The theme for this year's celebration is Be Bold for Change. How can this year's celebration fast-track the greater change for women and promote gender parity? This is our focus today on Panorama, coming to you from the Lagos Network Center. But first, the news making the headlines. I'm Viera Chumuba. We shall be back shortly. Don't go away. The government has promised to quickly put in place a mechanism that will bring about rapid development in the Niger Delta region. Acting President Professor Yemi Osinbajo stated this in Benin in continuation of his visit to the oil-producing areas.
The state has 11 oil-producing communities that have for many decades been contributing to the economic growth of the country. Community leaders and other stakeholders say the region has, despite its contribution to the economic growth of the nation, suffered neglect in terms of provision of infrastructures. They identified corruption as the reason for their woes. The acting president, who regretted the years of neglect, identified corruption as responsible for the lack of infrastructure in the region. He said he will prioritize of infrastructure in the region with a view to uplift the living standard of the people. Professor Osinbajo disclosed that a review mechanism will be set up to constantly review projects in the region with strict monitoring. The acting president said all abandoned projects in the region will be revisited and ensure their completion.
It's a story of neglect, it's a story in many cases of corruption that has deprived our people, and especially people in the oil-producing communities, of their means of livelihood for so many years. That is one of the issues that we intend to address.
Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki thanked the acting president for the visit and said his administration has provided youth empowerment programs to divert the attention of the youth to meaningful venture.
Edo State welcomes the bold and progressive initiative which you, our acting president, have taken. And we want to assure you, as you have heard from the various stakeholders, that we are prepared to support and work with the federal government.
Both Minister of State for Petroleum, Emmanuel Ibekachuku, and that of Niger Delta, Osani Uguru Osani, promised their commitment to the development of the region.
Serving and former executives of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, are to appear before the Senate Committee on Petroleum Downstream to respond to allegations on importation of petroleum products. This was a resolution at the end of the committee's meeting. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu reports.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation is to provide the committee with the documents relating to the 5.2 trillion naira subsidy from 2006 to date. The chairman of Senate Committee on Petroleum Downstream, Senator Kabiru Marafa, said it is in addition to the revenue received from the sale of 445 million barrels of crude oil, an alleged award of contracts for petroleum products importation to selected marketers at discounted value.
The leadership of the National Assembly is desirous of carrying a holistic investigation into this issue. So
indigenous companies engaged in Nigeria's oil and gas business, inspection companies and independent providers of energy information are also to appear before the committee. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA.
The need for international oil companies operating in Nigeria to maintain the rules of engagement to ensure that industrial wastes are not released to the environment has been emphasized. This was when the House Committee on Environment and Habitat inspected the Chevron Niger Limited gas plant at Extravos, Delta State. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim reports.
Having received brief from the management of Chevron Nigeria Limited on its general operations at the gas plant, the committee members demanded more explanations on how the company deals with waste management. OSP response, host community relationship is social corporate responsibility, including employment and capacity of the people of the area. as general security of the facilities. The members inspected various departments of the gas plant. Explanations by Chevron Nigeria Limited revealed that an incinerator plant has been put in place with a complex technology process to reduce toxic waste to its BRS minimum before proper disposal. The members also received explanations on efforts by the company to quickly respond to oil spill when such is brought to their notice. Chevron pointed to pipeline vandalism and other nefarious activities of militants in the Niger Delta as major challenges. While the inspection team settles to streamline issues under discussion, the attention of the lawmakers were drawn to the drastic reduction of gas flaring from 350% in 2008 to 26% in 2016.
We continue to sensitize communities on the impacts and implications of these illegal activities on their communities and even in their own environment.
We are agreeing to what every other person is saying to United Nations Framework and Convention on Climate Change to reduce carbon emission, also for us to reduce gas flaring.
The proposed first National Legislative Summit on Environment is expected to address all ecological issues for a healthy habitat and for national development.
Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Nigerians have been urged to embrace activities aimed at promoting unity and socio-economic prosperity of the nation. This was the thrust of a roundtable on the state of the nation held in Lagos. Lynn Leneke reports.
The objective of the roundtable is to deepen understanding and examine issues affecting the nation, especially peace, unity, and stability. The convener of the forum and chief media strategist of a civil advocacy group explained that addressing the security imbalance being experienced in the country requires total commitment by all citizens.
It should, however, be emphasized that the peace, unity, stability, and growth of the country should continue to be the overriding goal and objective of all our citizens.
The convener noted that the success story recorded so far in the Niger Delta was achieved as a result of the swift intervention of the government and leaders of the Niger Delta. He advised the leaders to encourage peaceful dialogue.
We condemn violence in all its ramifications because it is an ill wind that blows no one any good.
The forum commended the Nigerian military and other security agencies for keeping to the rules of engagement and striving to meet best global practices in deterring criminal activities affecting the oil and gas sector.
We believe in the efficacy of political solutions as the last resort, just as we acknowledge that there is no country where non-state actors had ever triumphed over state actors. The Nigerian nation is bigger than all of us.
They urged security personnel to curb crude oil theft and general criminality in the Niger Delta region. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
Nigerian youths have been advised to take the initiative of restructuring the country for effective governance and sustainable development. Guest speaker at this year's Obafemi Awolowo Memorial Lecture, Professor Banji Akitoye, says youths need to start dreaming big about the country's development and channel their knowledge and energy towards making the nation a major power in the world. The Jido has the detail.
Chief Obafemi Awolowo, one of Nigeria's founding fathers, was widely admired for his principles and respected for his leadership qualities, the virtues he brought into Nigeria's political space, registering outstanding achievements. The annual lecture series, inaugurated in his memory, has become a platform for cross-fertilization of ideas on Nigeria's development. The guest speaker advised Nigerian youths to stop lamenting about various challenges they are currently facing in the country and rather start putting their education and creative energy into use, just as Chief Awolowo did in his youthful years to develop the country.
Type of youth that Awolowo was when he stepped into greatness. He did it, you can do it. There is nothing special about any of us. It's just that what you choose to do.
Other speakers say Awo's legacy is still very relevant, and the youth should emulate the late state's virtues and total commitment to the nation.
Unless and until the basic governance structure of this country is got right, that all our efforts in many other directions will not come to much.
What Awolowo did as a youth and what Nnamdi Azikiwe did as a youth, that the youth of today can do it. And that we, the elders, must also let off a bit and let the youth rise. Respect for professionalism, respect for self-development, and respect for self-esteem. These are some of the core values that Nigerian youth should imbibe.
The lecture series is organized by the Obafemi Awolowo Foundation.
I thank God that I can do this little to make sure to try and get everybody, younger generations, to learn from him, to learn what he did, so that we can turn our country around.
There is no recipient this year for the Obafemi Awolowo Award for Leadership. The organizers say the nominees first showed off the criteria for the awards. Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka and former South African President Thabo Mbeki were former recipients of the award instituted 3 years ago. In Lagos, Digital NTA News.
With the closure of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, from 12 midnight on Wednesday, the 8th of March, for 6 weeks, the federal government says the Kaduna International Airport is in top form to commence full operation. Anthony Forson reports that this was the submission of the federal government at the World News Conference in Abuja.
In attendance at the news conference were Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, Minister of State for Aviation, Hadis Rika, representative of the Minister of Works, Power and Housing, and the Inspector General of Police.
In the case of Abuja Airport, for 34 years, neither surface cleaning has been done, nor resurfacing, and it is deteriorated. So what we are doing is certainly construction, and there's no other alternative than to close the runway.
They emphasize and create the intelligence of Nigerians that the whole exercise in the interest of safety, which is the key word in aviation.
I was part of the visit to the Kaduna airport. The tarmac is ready. You saw that we took a drive on the tarmac with the acting president. The tarmac is not a problem.
Responding to questions, the ministers and the Inspector General of Police alleged the fears being entertained.
Kaduna is an international airport, a seasonal international airport. Flights out to international or to countries outside than Nigeria are being conducted in Kaduna, even present state.
Please, coming from Lagos can meet the train between 8 and 9. If you leave by the 7 o'clock flight, you can meet the train that will bring you into Abuja.
While Air Ethiopia has indicated its willingness to fly to Kaduna, other airlines such as Lufthansa and Turkish Air are expected to also indicate their willingness to use Kaduna Airport. On movement to and from Abuja, the Minister of State Aviation, Hadis Rika, explained that shuttle buses have been made available to convey passengers, while for those who may wish to use the Kaduna-Abuja train, they are also free. He added that for those who may wish to engage the services of helicopter, it is also available. The Inspector General of Police, on his part, explained that a heavy security network has been designed to provide maximum security during the operation.
Our helicopters have been deployed for the past 1 week to be carrying out periodic surveillance of those areas. And like I stated, everything is going on according to plan.
In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
The theme for this year's International Women's Day 2017 is Be Bold for Change. And to throw more light on the celebration is the Secretary, Board of Trustees, West Africa Women Association, Mrs. Agnes Ujahomo. You're welcome to our studio. How would you describe the Nigerian woman of today?
Well, the Nigerian woman of today is confident, outspoken, well-directed, and understands what she wants for herself, for her children, and the family.
The theme for this year is Be Bold for Change. What informed the theme?
Well, the theme is very, very relevant to the current situation that we are in, especially with the current government having change as its key word and operation. Women, for us, we are ready for this change, and we are also producing and taking on our own roles with the few challenges that we have. Nevertheless, challenges that are caused by traditional harmful practices, gender-based violence, poor self-esteem in workplace, trafficking, low education level, and maternal mortality, morbidity, and then recently kidnapping, rape, and early marriages, and all the other challenges that go with us trying to take our place in the place where Nigeria is today.
Please, can you explain a little further? How ready are women in Nigeria for this change?
Women are ready because already you can see we have taken up positions that were usually reserved for men. We now have our women in the Senate, we have women ministers, we have women being assistant governors in some states, and in the private sector, the women are also forging ahead. We have a few of them as MDs of bank and chairmen of banks, and I would say we are ready for the change and that we're forging ahead.
Okay, would you say the same for government at all levels? Would you say they have really done enough in this regard?
Government at all levels has thrown the doors open for us. What is left for us is to try and network, and especially the non-governmental organization, to come together and then forge ahead for change, lobby the legislators, and lobby the government, lobby all the agencies that will effect the changes.
I'm sure all these are without constraints. What are the challenges facing women?
The challenges that we have, it's the usual things that we have all been crying about, like not being given the opportunity, but we are all being given the opportunity. But the challenges are, like in the private sector, women still are not able to access loan like their male counterparts, and there are also discrimination, and when women get married, they are not allowed to hold posts in the position in the state where their husbands are, and but generally speaking, women are overcoming, and we are trying to cope with the challenges.
What general advice would you give women in keeping with this hope?
Well, for us women, my advice would be for us to continue to advocate and to plan gender mainstream, and advocate for gender desks to be available in banks and in certain offices, and then to promote for us to come together, have a coalition and speak with one voice, and then press for the fulfillment of the goals that have been set, and have a common theme. We tend to have too many aims. We now have to come together and speak with one voice. And then, most importantly, we women, especially for us older ones, we must now start mentoring our younger ones. So we must have mentees. I belong to a group recently in Oviebume Foundation, where we give free lessons to students in the free government schools around. And we all have now adopted each child to mentor, meaning we see to the schoolwork and then see how far the child could go. So if we older ones can adopt mentoring the younger ones, That will help.
Mentoring in all areas, including the workplace.
And including the workplace.
Thank you, Ms. Ojomo, for being our guest. You're still watching Panorama, coming to you from the Lagos Network Center. More stories after this break.
Nigerians, our fearless officers and men of the Nigerian military are winning the war against Boko Haram. Today, all occupied territories have been recovered and Boko Haram has been degraded. Our affected brothers and sisters are getting their lives back. However, they are now after you and me. In our mosques, churches, schools, motor parks, markets, entertainment centers, and public gatherings. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me. Nigeria, unite against terrorism.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Back, you're still on to Panorama from the Lagos Network Center. In its bid to ensure that its officers and men remain competent and favorably disposed to responding effectively to security situations, the Nigerian Army has commenced a one-week training in Lagos. Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, represented by the General Officer Commanding 81 Division, Major General Ebenezer Oyefulu, charged the officers to maximize the benefits of the training to become globally competitive. Jane Ojukwu reports.
Major General Ebenezer Oyefulu noted that the environment in which the Nigerian Army operates is constantly unpredictable and less conventional. Against this backdrop, he says, to remain professionally responsive and on top of every situation, there is need to continually equip and improve the capacity of officers in line with emerging trends.
Chief of Army Staff has released its training directive, which is expected to ensure that we're prepared for eventualities. We train hard to prepare for any kind of eventualities as we go on in the year, to make them proficient in the planning of operations. Particularly those type of operations that we are experiencing in the general area of our responsibility.
Major General Oyefulu says the Nigerian Army is reorganizing in line with current threats, perception and requirement for effective performance.
We've created divisions in the last 2 years, the 7th division, the 8th division, patrol division, and now the 6th division, the Niger Delta. And secondly, we're executing the OBAT, especially those ones that doesn't require too much finances for now.
Some of the areas of focus include novelist approach to warfare, estimate process and contemporary operations within Nigeria. About 100 staff officers and commanders from formations and units under the 81 Division are participating in the training. In Lagos, Jane Ojukwu, NTA News.
Moving on to sports. Western Naval Command wins 11th Nigerian Navy Games as University of Lagos and Bayero University Kano are set for basketball in next month University Games in Makurdi, Benue State. Ding Desano reports.
The 11th Nigerian Navy Games in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State came to a close with Western Naval Command emerging champions with 69 gold, 69 silver and 46 bronze medals. Eastern Naval Command placed second with 38 gold, 22 silver and 34 bronze medals, while Naval Headquarters Abuja finished third. The closing ceremony featured football final and invitational relays.
The immediate appraisal of the games reveals a very positive outcome and a confirmation that the objectives of the games were well met.
President of Nigeria Volleyball Federation Habu Gumez says the postponement of first phase Africa Zone 3 World Beach Volleyball Championship qualifiers in Cotonou, Benin Republic from March 3rd to 6th to March 10th to 13th will not hamper Nigeria's chances of scaling through. Gumez visited the athletes at the Ajabo Lake Abuja training camp ahead of their Thursday departure, believes that Team Nigeria is fully prepared to take on their opponents, which include Ghana, Togo, and host the Benin Republic. University of Lagos are winners of the Nigerian University Games Association 3x3 basketball competition decided at the Old Parade Ground in Abuja and attended by 19 universities. University of Lagos defeated University of Ibadan by 14 points to 11, and in the female category, Bayero University Kano beat University of Ilorin by 10 to 6 points.
The competition is throwing more challenge to leaders, administrators, stakeholders, and the various state governments.
The two-day competition was aimed at describing players that will compete at this year's Nigeria University Games to be hosted by University of Agriculture, Makurdi, from April 20th to 30th. With sport update from Gesoni, NTA News.
With that, we end Panorama today from the Lagos Network Center. Many thanks for watching. I am Viera Chumba. Good afternoon.
Entrepreneurs brings you the world's biggest entrepreneurial reality show. Thousands of applicants screened across 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria. Pitch your business idea to a esteemed business panel of international judges. Then qualify for grants, single-digit loans, equipment, and training. The passion, the pain.
I'm not behind. It was tense over there.
And the game.
If you can deliver a fresh and more appealing and trendier NTA logo, then you stand the chance to win the NTA Refresh Logo competition. The NTA management is looking to make fine adjustments that will bring out the very best of its logo. This is an opportunity for you to be part of NTA's history. Send in your entry in TIFF or PNG format to the office of the Executive Director Programs at the NTA Headquarters, Area 11, Kerke, Abuja, or email to awa5050@live.com. All submissions, including your contact details and short profile, should reach us on or before March 10, 2017. For more details, please check www.nta.ng.
NTA, you can't beat the reach.